Ahoy, this is Zdenka. DJI OM4 is out, new short name for the DJI Osmo Mobile line of smartphone gimbals as we know it. Since DJI is not giving out free samples for smaller channels, I decided to purchase one myself to be able to review it on this channel because you have sent me so many requests to review this gimbal. I'm gonna be very honest. When they announced the DJI OM4, I was super excited, I was very thrilled. It is out and I couldn't wait to order it. And then I watched few sort of first impression videos on YouTube from large channels, and then this arrived. And I gotta say that my excitement was sort of smaller, was gone. But I'm gonna explain completely in today's video. I'm gonna go through all the details. I'm gonna review it very thoroughly, so you should be able to get all your answers. Is it really worth upgrading from DJI Osmo Mobile 3 to DJI OM4? And for the new faces, welcome! My name is Zdenka Darula. If you want to learn how to take better photos and videos with the latest gear and possibly participate in creative camera challenges, consider subscribing. DJI certainly did a great job on packaging. The box is nicely designed and thus catches attention for sure. What do you really get in the box? Gimbal, tripod, magnetic phone clamp, magnetic ring holder, wrist strap, carrying bag, and manuals. What has changed and what didn't? When you look at those gimbals, DJI Osmo Mobile 3 and OM4, they pretty much look the same. They are the same, except the new one, OM4, is much lighter color. The other one is darker. Also, the phone holder, the clamp is different, but I'm gonna talk about that a little bit later in today's video. The dimensions of the gimbal are a few millimeters here, and they're smaller than the older version. Here you can compare the size of Osmo Mobile 3 and the size of OM4. The weight of the gimbal is pretty much the same, only a few grams difference depending if you are using it with magnetic clamp or magnetic sticker. Mechanical range, especially when it comes to roll motor, has changed slightly. Roll movement is smaller. I'm gonna show that also in today's video. When it comes to compatible phones, the maximum payload is 290 grams, which is good. That means that the motors are now stronger. That's actually a great news. If you want to see more of the phone sizes, more information is here. Also, if you want to make sure that your phone is compatible with this gimbal, what you can do is go to DJI website where you can download compatibility list, which will tell you exactly if you are ready to go or not. Now, charging time is 2.5 hours, and if the gimbal is properly balanced and if you are using it correctly, then you can get up to 15 hours of working time. Let's talk about the magnetic phone clamp and the magnetic sticker. It is fantastic that they created this magnetic system in the hopes that this might speed up the process of attaching a phone to a gimbal. And for some, actually for most of the users, it will be amazing. This gimbal comes with this plastic sheet where it shows you based on your phone size where you can glue the magnetic ring sticker on. And this will be fantastic for someone who charges their phone via cable. It's not going to be fantastic for someone who charges their phone via wireless charger. This will be also fantastic for someone who wants to film with their smartphone and perhaps has only one lens on the smartphone. But for me, unfortunately, since I have iPhone 11 Pro and I have multiple lenses on the phone, if I attach this ring sticker on my phone, so the phone is perfectly balanced on DJI OM4, just like this tool tells you to do so. Whenever I'm filming with the ultra-wide angle lens, unfortunately, in some movements, I can see part of the motor in the shots, and that's actually something I was a little bit disappointed over because I thought that by now they would have taken care of that problem. I was hoping that I'm not gonna be able to see the motors in the shots anymore. So in my case, because I want to film with all three lenses, I want to film with the ultra-wide angle lens, and I actually want to even use additional filters and lenses on the phone, what I can do, I can use this magnetic clamp because I can move it freely to the side. The magnetic clamp doesn't have very deep grip, so some of the cases will not fit, especially if you are using Moment cases with the extra lenses on it. I already said that some of the cases will not fit in this clamp. What I also don't like is the fact that some of the phones are already heavy enough. If you have to keep clamp on the phone, it's going to get even bigger and heavier. So it's going to pull your pants down if you don't have a belt. That's something I hear from my husband complaining because he has Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus, which is pretty large phone and heavy one. He always complains that it's pulling his pants down. I tried to attach it on this phone and obviously, yes, it felt even heavier. I honestly didn't like this feature already on Zoom Smooth Q2, which is also clamp. You can leave on the phone. After a while, it was really bothering me. This was the same thing. I simply don't like too many attachments on my phone when I'm using the phone. It just doesn't feel right in my hands. With the Osmo Mobile 3, when you use it all the time, you know exactly in which spot you attach the phone that is balanced perfectly every single time. It's not going to speed up much here. Otherwise, if you want to use extra lenses, it is exactly the same thing like on the previous version Osmo Mobile 3. You just need to attach counterweights. The magnet is extremely strong. Your phone is not gonna fall off. What I'm wondering actually about is if I'm gonna yank it like this over and over again, maybe do it like 500 times, 1000 times, what will happen down the road to those motors? Now, I might be completely off. I might be completely wrong for saying this. That's something DJI knows. They know why they did it. But it just makes me wonder because I like to be gentle with my equipment. I want it to last. So what I'm doing when I'm removing the phone with this clamp, I just pretty much hold the top part of the motor, making sure there's no pressure, and then I remove this whole thing off. Because the size of the arms changed little, they are shorter now, some of the large phones with big extra lenses attached won't work. They might be touching the gimbal if you are rotating the motors. If you move it around, if you will use heavy lens and use counterweights, you might run into this problem. For those who use extra lenses again. There is one big plus though, as I said before, the motors are much stronger, so it should be much better to handle external lenses. One thing people complain about Osmo Mobile 3 is that the motors are not strong enough. OM4 took care of that, so big points there. Let's look at the buttons, how we operate this gimbal, and it's pretty much the same like Osmo Mobile 3, so let's quickly run through this. For everything you want to do, you need to use DJI Mimo app. You cannot switch gimbal modes if you are going to be using native camera app or Filmic Pro. You can only use the record button with those, so nothing new here. Let's make sure that we are in DJI Mimo app. If you press the M button, you will get to menu where you can change gimbal modes, follow, tilt lock, FPV and spin shot. You can also switch between shooting modes, story, panorama, photo, video, slow motion, dynamic zoom, that is new feature, time lapse and hyperlapse. If you press the M button 2 times, you will switch between landscape and portrait mode. If you press and hold until it beeps once, you will enter standby mode. If you press and hold until it beeps twice, you will turn it off. Joystick is the same, move left, right, up and down. Record button is the same. Press 1 time to take photo or video. Press and hold for burst mode in photo mode. Zoom slider is on the side. The trigger on the other side is also the same. Press and hold to enter lock mode. Press 1 time to start active track 3.0. Press 2 times to recenter the gimbal. Press 3 times to switch between front and back cameras. Press 1 time and then press and hold to enter sports mode. And release to exit. Here is charging port USB-C and here is USB-A where you can charge your phone from the gimbal. At the bottom you can attach tripod and wrist strap, quite the same like the Osmo Mobile 3. How can we use the gimbal? In upright mode, underslug mode, side grip mode and low position. So how stable this gimbal really is. So let me go do some tests here. First, I'm gonna do just regular hard walk. Then I'm gonna do ninja walk. That means very softly in my knees. And lastly, I'm gonna go for full speed run. Let's look at the rotation of the motor. So let's first do pan move. Then let's do tilt movement. And finally, let's do roll movement. Let's look at the app. Let's see what's new and what didn't change. And here I gotta explain why I felt a bit disappointed. Well, first of all, when I saw the new gimbal, I saw that it's pretty much the same like the Osmo Mobile 3. The magnetic clamp didn't really amaze me much, to be honest, and so my initial thought was, okay, but they probably worked on the app really hard and they really upgraded it heavily. Maybe we are getting the 120 frames per second slow motion. Maybe we are getting stuff like Mutsa has, more manual controls, filming with 3 lenses at the same time and all that. But unfortunately, the app is the same. Maybe they will upgrade it down the road, but right now it's pretty much the same. There are a few new features here and there added, but otherwise I would say it's the same. I'm gonna be showing the app with Apple iPhone 11 Pro, and then I will explain what the limitations are with Android. With Apple phone, you can shoot in automatic mode and manual mode as well. You can film in 24 frames per second, 30 frames per second, and 60 frames per second in 4K, 1080p, and 720p. There is no 120 frames per second, but you can do slow motion in 240 frames per second in 1080p. Yes, you can film with multiple lenses, adjust gimbal settings, use timer. Beauty mode is here as well, which is quite detailed. What has been improved is Active Track 3.0. Basically, it is tracking your face, head, and shoulders, so it should be much easier to track model or yourself. Story mode allows you to select your preferred template, record video, and it will cut in together into a small story. Or you can do custom story where you have much control over the final result. Then we have hyperlapse, time-lapse, dynamic zoom, which is new. What you have to do is choose move out or move in mode, drag box around subject, and start recording. Slow motion allows you to film in H-time slow motion, video, photos, and a panel where you can do either 3x3 panorama, 240 degrees, or again, new feature, Clone Me Panorama. Let's just create one. So, what is different with the Android phone? First of all, you can only film in 30 frames per second, either in 4K, 1080p, or 720p. You are not getting 24 frames per second, you are not getting 60 frames per second, you are not getting slow motion. Slow motion is not there. You cannot film in manual mode, you can only film in automatic mode. You cannot use multiple lenses, you can do that digitally by digitally zooming in and out. So, if you want to use other app like Filmic Pro, you certainly can, or native camera app where you will be able to do all this. Unfortunately, you are not going to be able to switch filming modes with the gimbal outside of DJI Mimo. You have to be in DJI Mimo to switch between follow mode, tilt lock mode, sports mode, and all that. What do I think about this gimbal? Well, quite honestly, the magnetic clamp, that magnetic system is a minus for me. I'm sorry, it's just not good for my style of filming. For others, you might absolutely love it. If you have Apple phone, this is probably one of the best gimbals on the market. You will absolutely love it. If you have Android, it's great. It's absolutely good gimbal, but you can get, I would say, better for Android phones because, like I said, there are quite limitations in the app. When it comes to app in general for Apple, I was hoping again to be able to film in 120 frames per second. I was hoping for a little bit more manual control. This gimbal is more for beginners or just general users, so they just want to pop the phone there and go. If you are using external lenses, like I said, I already mentioned before, there might be some problems, you might run into some challenges. If you never ever had gimbal before, this is gonna be your first gimbal, I'd say go for it. It's gonna be fantastic for you, you're gonna enjoy it. If you already have DJI Osmo Mobile 3, is it worth upgrading? To be honest, I gotta say no, because the difference is not so huge. I would rather use the money and maybe buy another external lens. To see the current pricing of this gimbal and a little bit of a discount, the link can be found below the video in the video description. And yes, those are international links. It will show you the price in your currency based on where you live. Hit the thumbs up if you found this video informative, and don't forget to subscribe for more. I'm gonna take this gimbal to a real world. Let's film a city in a little bit, so I'm gonna take it out. I'm gonna take you behind the scenes and I'm gonna show you how to use this new gimbal. If you have any questions, comments, simply want to say hi or ahoy, I would love to hear from you. You can leave it in the comment section below, and I'll see you, my friends, in the next video. Ciao, ahoy.